Have you ever felt that subtle brush of his hand and wondered, was that on purpose? Or maybe he touched your lower back while walking past you and your heart skipped a beat, but you weren't sure if it meant anything. Here's the truth. When a man is attracted to you, he might not always say it with words, but his touch will speak volumes. In this video, we're unlocking a secret language that most women overlook, the language of touch. These aren't random gestures. They're intentional signals rooted in psychology, chemistry, and attraction. And once you understand what each touch really means, you'll never question his feelings again. But I want to be clear, this isn't about overanalyzing every interaction or chasing signs that aren't there. It's about recognizing when a man is communicating interest without saying a word through physical cues that are subtle but powerful. So if you're tired of guessing games, if you want to feel confident about when he's into you and when he's not, then you're in the right place. Today I'm breaking down the 5 specific places a man will touch you when he's genuinely attracted to you, and exactly what each one reveals about how he feels. Some of these may surprise you, others you've probably felt before but never realized what they meant. Stay with me until the end, because I'll also show you one kind of touch that feels flirty but actually means nothing at all. And that distinction can save you from a lot of heartbreak. Let's dive into what his touch really says about his desire. It's one of the most confusing feelings. You're with a guy, maybe talking or laughing, and he touches your arm lightly or helps guide you through a doorway with his hand on your back. In that moment, your brain is spinning. Was that just him being polite, or was there something more behind it? The truth is, some men are naturally more tactile and warm with everyone, especially in social or friendly environments. They might touch people out of habit to be comforting, or simply because they were raised to show kindness that way. But attraction has its own fingerprint. And if you look closely, the difference between a polite gesture and an intentional touch becomes clear. When a man is just being polite, the touch is quick, light, and often done with no emotional weight. It's usually followed by a neutral facial expression, no lingering gaze, and no change in the energy between you. Think of how someone might guide a friend or coworker by the elbow. It's mechanical, respectful, and fleeting. There's no deeper emotional signal attached. But when a man is attracted to you, his touch changes. There's a certain stillness or pause that happens. He might touch you longer than necessary, and he'll likely make eye contact during or right after. His body may angle toward you, even in crowded space. And here's a powerful cue. The places he touches become more emotionally loaded. A polite man might offer a quick handshake or a shoulder pat. An interested man, however, might brush your lower back, touch your hand longer than needed, or let his fingers graze yours in a way that feels intentional. Men don't always know how to say what they feel, especially when they're still testing the waters of attraction. But their body speaks, and touch is one of the first ways they try to communicate romantic curiosity without taking a verbal risk. So when you ask yourself, is he just being nice? Pay attention, not just to the act itself, but the energy behind it. His eyes, his tone, the moment, the duration, it all matters. Because when it's more than just manners, you'll feel it not just on your skin, but in your gut. The shoulder touch is one of the most underrated signs of attraction, and yet when done with the right energy, it can speak volumes. Think about it, the shoulder is a neutral, non-threatening area of the body, which makes it the perfect starting point for a man who wants to test the waters of physical connection without coming off too strong. It's subtle, it's safe, and most importantly, it gives him a read on how you respond. When a man places his hand on your shoulder, especially in a moment of conversation or shared laughter, it can feel casual on the surface, but pay close attention to how he does it. Was it a quick 1-second pat with no eye contact? That's probably just friendly. But if his hand lingers, even for a second too long, or if he squeezes gently while smiling at you, that's not just politeness, that's personal, that's intentional. That's him reaching out to connect in a way that still gives him an out if it's not reciprocated. This type of touch is often used in social settings, where a man wants to gauge your comfort level without risking rejection. It might happen while he's complimenting you, teasing you playfully, or even just getting your attention. What makes the shoulder touch powerful is that it sits right on the line between platonic and flirty. That's why it's a favorite for guys who aren't quite ready to make a bold move, but are definitely interested. Now here's the deeper layer. The shoulder is also a place of support. So when a man touches your shoulder, especially in a protective or reassuring way, he's not just showing attraction, He's offering emotional presence. Maybe you're telling a story and his hand lands there for a second, almost like a "Hey, I'm here, I see you." It's gentle, but grounded, and that can build trust and intimacy in very small but very real ways. Another thing to notice is how often he does it. If a guy repeatedly touches your shoulder over time, even if it seems casual, it's probably not an accident, especially if he doesn't do it to other women around you. Men are usually more selective with touch when it comes to someone they're drawn to. The repetition becomes a signal, a pattern, and in attraction, patterns matter more than one-off moments. Body language doesn't lie. So even if he's not saying "I like you" with his words, his shoulder touch might be whispering it instead. The warmth, the slight pause, the eye contact. It's his way of creating closeness without making a move that feels too risky. So next time it happens, don't brush it off. Watch his face. Feel the energy shift. Because when a man touches your shoulder with intention, he's not just passing time, he's opening a door, quietly inviting you to notice that his interest might go deeper than you think. When a man touches the small of your back, it's rarely accidental. This is one of the most telling, intimate, and revealing places a man will reach for when he's attracted to you, especially if he's trying to assert quiet confidence or subtle dominance. Unlike a shoulder or arm, the small of your back is a more vulnerable and private area. It's not where most people casually touch each other in friendly situations. So when a guy reaches there, he's signaling something more primal. I'm drawn to you, and I want to be close. What makes this touch so powerful is that it's often disguised as helpful. Think of moments like walking through a doorway, guiding you through a crowd, or moving past you in a tight space. He might rest his hand there lightly as he leans in to say something, or place it gently while helping you move around an obstacle. But here's the key. No one needs to touch the small of your back to be helpful. It's a choice, and that choice often reveals attraction. The small of the back is also one of the most sensitive, nerve-rich parts of the body, so when his hand lands there, even briefly, it's likely to create a surge of awareness between you, whether you admit it or not. He might not even say anything, but that 1-second touch can create an instant spark. That's why men use it when they want to create physical connection without jumping straight into something overtly romantic or sexual. It's like a whisper, not a shout, a quiet way of saying, "I want to be close to you." Also notice how he touches you. Is it a firm, steady hand that lingers a moment longer than necessary? That suggests he's confident and fully aware of what he's doing. Is it a soft, almost nervous brush that pulls away quickly? That could mean he's testing boundaries, unsure of how you'll react, but still drawn to you enough to try. Either way, this kind of touch is rarely meaningless. Men are more cautious about touching this part of a woman's body because they know it's intimate. So if he goes there, he's sending a message. Pay attention to context too. Is this touch happening when you're both alone or around other people? A man who's willing to touch the small of your back in public is usually signaling pride and possession. He wants others to see that connection. If it's in private, it might be more vulnerable, more emotionally charged. Bottom line, when he touches you there, it's about more than just helping you through a door. It's about creating closeness, asserting presence, and showing that he's emotionally and physically attuned to you. It's subtle, but it speaks volume. And once you notice this kind of touch, you'll start recognizing how powerful it really is. Because it's not just contact, it's chemistry. The hand graze is one of the most delicate yet emotionally loaded forms of touch a man can offer when he's attracted to you. It's subtle, often fleeting, and sometimes so quick that you wonder if it even happened. But when it does, it creates a spark, almost like electricity running between two people who are just on the edge of something more. That tiny moment of physical contact can carry a world of meaning, especially when it's between two people with unspoken tension. When a man grazes your hand, it's rarely about necessity. Think of moments when your hands brush while reaching for the same object, walking side by side or sitting close at a table. It may look accidental, but the truth is, it usually isn't. A man who is attracted to you will find ways to create small, non-threatening moments of physical contact to test the chemistry. And the hand graze is one of his safest tools. It's soft, it's non-invasive, and it lets him see how you react without risking embarrassment. What makes this touch so powerful is that it sits at the intersection of intimacy and innocence. Touching someone's hand, especially not in a handshake or formal way, is deeply personal. We use our hands to create, to express, to connect. So when a man finds a reason to let his fingers linger near yours, even just for a second, He's reaching out emotionally as much as physically. Often this kind of graze will come with a glance, a small smile, or a subtle shift in his body language. He might look away quickly or act like it was nothing, but the timing and frequency will give him away. A man who repeatedly finds opportunities to graze your hand is signaling one very specific thing. I want more, but I'm not sure if I have permission yet. It's his way of easing into vulnerability. He's seeing if you'll pull away, or maybe, just maybe, if you'll let it happen again. And when that graze becomes more frequent, or starts to linger a little longer each time, it's a sign that he's not just physically attracted, he's emotionally invested. Another clue: watch how he reacts after it happens. Does he seem more energized, slightly flustered, or more focused on you afterward? Attraction lives in the tension, in the space between what's said and what's acted on. A simple brush of hands can create that charge, and if you feel it too, you'll know it wasn't random. So don't underestimate the power of this tiny gesture. It might look like nothing from the outside, but inside it can speak volumes. The hand graze is often a prelude, a quiet test that asks, are you feeling this too? And when both people feel it, even without a word, everything changes. Because sometimes the softest touch is the one that says the most. When a man touches your hair, it's no longer just casual interaction. It's intimate. Hair is deeply personal, and unlike a handshake or a pat on the shoulder, it exists in a space that's reserved for people we allow to get close. That's why when a guy reaches out to brush your hair behind your ear, run his fingers lightly through a strand, or even play with a loose curl or wave, it's rarely meaningless. It's one of the clearest physical signs that he's not only attracted to you, he's drawn to you in a way that makes him want to connect more deeply. This kind of touch can feel tender, protective, or even flirty depending on how it's done. But what it always signals is emotional vulnerability. Men don't typically touch a woman's hair unless they feel safe doing so, or they're trying to express closeness. It's often a moment that happens during a conversation, when things are already emotionally charged, or when he's looking for an excuse to get closer without saying something too bold. Maybe it happens when he's complimenting how you look, or during a moment of laughter, or even when you're sitting together in a quiet space. That gentle reach toward your hair is a doorway into more intimate energy. It's also worth noting that this touch is usually instinctive. A guy might not even plan to do it. He just acts on a sudden urge to be closer to you. That's what makes it powerful. It's not a strategic move. It's emotion-driven. In many cases, it comes with a certain softness. He might touch your hair while looking into your eyes, smiling, or leaning in just slightly. It can be brief, like tucking a strand behind your ear, or longer, like gently running his fingers down the length of your hair. Either way, it's a move that says, I see you, I want to connect. And here's something important: most men are aware that hair is sensitive. They know it's not something people randomly touch. So if he goes there, he's taking a small emotional risk. He's hoping you'll lean into it rather than pull away. That reaction tells him everything. If you smile, hold eye contact, or even seem flustered in a good way, that gives him permission to move the connection forward. But if you pull away or freeze, he knows to hold back. It's a touch that tests not just your comfort, but your interest. Hair is often symbolic. It represents femininity, sensuality, and softness. And when a man engages with it, even subtly, he's engaging with those deeper layers of who you are. So the next time his hand moves towards your hair, ask yourself, did he need to touch me right then? Or was he following a feeling he couldn't quite put into words? Because in that moment, he might be saying more with his fingertips than he ever could with his voice. When a man touches your face or gently lifts your chin, it's no longer just attraction. It's something deeper. This kind of touch is rare, intentional, and incredibly intimate. Think about it. The face is the most expressive and vulnerable part of the body. It's where we hold our emotions, where we communicate without speaking, and where we guard our innermost feelings. So when a man reaches for your face, he's crossing a line that only someone truly drawn to you would dare to step across. This kind of touch usually doesn't happen at the beginning of a connection. It builds over time through shared looks, long conversations, emotional closeness, and growing chemistry. Then, in a moment that often feels slow and charged, his hand moves toward your cheek, your jawline, or under your chin. Maybe he's brushing hair away from your face. Maybe he's tilting your chin up to meet his gaze. Or maybe his fingers are simply resting on your cheek as you talk. Either way, this is never casual. It's personal, it's tender, and it's filled with meaning. When a man touches your face, he's not just expressing desire. He's showing admiration. He's taking a moment to see you, to hold your attention, to tell you silently, you matter to me. This gesture says, I feel close to you. I trust you. I want you to feel safe with me. It's the kind of touch that speaks to emotional depth, not just physical attraction. It often happens in quiet moments when words feel too heavy or unnecessary. A glance turns into a pause, and then his hand moves, instinctively, almost as if drawn by something deeper than logic. There's also something incredibly protective in this gesture. A man who touches your face is usually showing that he feels connected to you in a way that goes beyond surface-level flirtation. He wants to comfort you, to be present with you, to show softness. It's the opposite of rushed or careless. It's a moment that slows down time, that creates a bubble just for the two of you. Pay close attention to his eyes when this happens. Often you'll see something shift. His gaze softens. He studies your features like he's trying to memorize them. This moment might even feel cinematic, like the scene just before a kiss, or the pause after a heartfelt confession. And honestly, that's exactly what it is. The face touch is a bridge, a gesture that often leads into something more, or at least hints at feelings that are getting harder for him to hide. So if a man touches your face or lifts your chin to meet his eyes, don't brush it off. That's not casual. That's not polite. That's him showing you his heart without needing to say a word. It's raw, vulnerable, and rare. And when it happens, it almost always means he feels something real. Not every touch from a man means he's attracted to you, and it's incredibly important to understand the difference. Sometimes we can get swept up in overanalyzing every little physical gesture, thinking, was that a sign? But the truth is, many touches are just polite, habitual, or situational, especially in social or professional settings where friendliness is expected. Misreading these can lead to confusion, disappointment, or even embarrassment. So let's talk about some of the most common touches that usually don't signal romantic interest. One of the biggest examples is the light, quick pat on the back or shoulder. This is often used in group environments, like when someone is congratulating you, guiding you through a space, or simply acknowledging something you said. There's no lingering, no emotional charge, no shift in eye contact. Just a short platonic gesture. It's a sign of respect or encouragement, not attraction. Another common one is the handshake. While firm handshakes can show confidence and maybe even spark some chemistry if there's already tension, 99% of the time, it's simply a social norm. Don't confuse a strong handshake or brief hand contact during greetings or goodbyes with romantic intent, especially if it's something he does consistently with others. Also, touches that happen because of proximity, like brushing against you in a crowded room, or a quick touch on your arm while reaching for something, are often just circumstantial. They're not deliberate, and the guy might not even be aware he touched you. The key here is whether there's follow-up behavior. Did he look at you differently afterward? Smile? Pause? If not, chances are it wasn't meaningful. And then there are habitual touchers, men who simply have high social warmth and casually touch everyone when they speak. You'll notice these guys are equally physical with men and women alike, touching arms, shoulders, even hands during conversations. For them, touch is part of how they connect in general, not a sign of deeper interest. The bottom line is, intention matters. Attraction shows up in how a man looks at you, how long he stays in a moment, and how often he finds ways to connect again. So while it's tempting to interpret every touch as a signal, trust the full context. Because when it is attraction, you won't just feel it on your skin, you'll feel it in the energy between you. Attraction isn't always loud. It doesn't always announce itself with grand gestures or obvious confessions. More often, it shows up quietly in subtle touches, lingering looks, and energy that shifts when you enter the room. The key to understanding whether a man is attracted to you lies in learning how to read patterns, not just isolated moments. A single touch could be nothing, but when touches repeat, when they deepen over time, and when they're paired with emotional presence and body language that says, I see you, that's when you know it's something real. Think about what we've covered: the shoulder touch, the small of the back, the hand graze, the hair and the face. Each of these physical moments carries its own emotional message. The more intimate the area, the more vulnerable the man has to be to reach for it. And the more he risks being seen, not just as someone who's interested, but as someone who cares. That's what attraction really is. An emotional investment wrapped in small physical signals. But just as important as reading his signals is being aware of your own energy. How do you feel when he touches you? Do you tense up or lean in? Your body always tells the truth before your mind catches up. And when the energy between you and a man is mutual, you'll feel that unspoken pull. The moment where words stop mattering because the vibe is undeniable. Still, attraction doesn't mean action. Some men won't follow through. They may be drawn to you but unsure, afraid, or not ready. That's why it's important to watch for consistency. Does he keep showing up? Does he find excuses to be near you, talk to you, touch you in small but meaningful ways? Or is it a one-time thing that disappears the next day? Learning how to read these signs is not about overanalyzing. It's about learning to trust your intuition. When a man is truly attracted to you, it's not just something you notice. It's something you feel. In his gaze, in the timing of his touch, and in the space he creates to get closer to you. So pay attention to what your body feels, not just what he does, because real attraction is never just physical. It's emotional, energetic, and deeply human.